Wonderful day and welcome. My name is Seth and we are finally back with more Frontier content. Yeah, can't believe it myself, but we are finally here. And what is this? Well, this is kind of a beginner's guide-ish. Well, I originally thought this could be easily a spin-off series of the beginner's guide, but it should be included. Weapons. Especially because this game has the style mechanics, which allows you to switch the weapon style to different moveset and play styles in itself. So I thought we should cover this for the beginner's guide to see if you can maybe find a new weapon for yourself if you're interested in, and see beforehand how it works out, how it plays, and what's going on with it. And if you're asking now why the lack of content for Frontier at all, well, Frontier has limited stuff I can do in terms of videos because my time is mostly taken up by streaming first and foremost, and I only have like 3 days in the week off from streaming where I just do other stuff like YouTube, but I also do a lot of other things beside YouTube. And I'm very disappointed with my own editing skills for videos, which are not great, so I'm pretty limited in what interesting content and very good video editing, engaging video editing I can do, so I'm sorry for that. But I definitely want to invest more into YouTube videos, because YouTube videos are fun to do and I like doing them. I just need to find more time, and it's just that, alright? Forgive my amateur experience. It is what it is, and I just want to bring some helpful stuff to you guys and some content, and here it is. Weapons. Frontier has obviously 14 weapons or weapon types, different weapon types, where 3 of them are exclusively for Frontier, where you can argue that Switch Axe is not exclusively, but it does play differently in this game, so we're gonna come to that later. The other weapons you know from other games, but there is a little twist that the movesets of the weapons and the playstyle of the weapons can be changed or variated with the style addition of the game. You have usually 4 different styles for each weapon type where movesets get changed or the playstyle itself. So you have a variation of how you approach the game or how you play the game itself, and it's very interesting to get into and check that out. And this is what we're gonna do with this little series. Obviously, we're gonna start with the SnS, as you can see here I've already equipped. We're gonna talk about the movesets and combos and changes in each style for each video, each weapon. Before we now go into the movesets directly, let me say 2 things. First of all, before we start any elitism or smarty comments where you say, oh yeah, but this is not meta, you can't do that, you can't do this. This is not meta, no, you can't use this because it's bad. No, no one uses that, you can't. Play how you want. This is a Monster Hunter game, it's a video game, and video games are played best however you like and enjoy them. Don't get influenced by others, enjoy the game. It is worth to exploring, especially alone or with your friends. You can just goof around, do the things you will do in other Monster Hunter games. Just get the experience, let it soak in, and just have a ride. Then the second one is the active features. I'm not sure if I covered them before, but before we go now into movesets, active features is something we need to talk about. For active features, you can see at the top left corner of the screen next to the clock and the daytime thing. Active features is a buff that applies per day for certain weapon types. You can see the icons up there where it says active feature and next feature, and one of the icons is red lit. This means Tonfas today have their active feature buffs on. These buffs are different for each weapon type. This is exactly how it worked on vanilla servers. In the case of SnS, the SnS gets an increased elemental damage and status element application of 20%, which is pretty chunky and pretty neat to say. So if you see that one happening, keep that in mind if you're like trying to optimize some speedruns or trying to just farm something where you have problems with. Use the buffs, make them yours. Okay, then we can start with the movesets, and we're gonna go over every style of the weapon. The weapons usually have 4 styles: the Earth style, the Heaven style, the Storm style, and the Extreme style, where Heaven and Storm style are usually like an upgrade to each other. Like the Storm is an upgrade to Heaven, and they unlock the same time, but in some cases it's more likely of a preference or playstyle change. In the case of SNS, for example, Heaven and Storm style have only one big major difference in Moveset, which is not much, but it does change how you approach the game and how you play, so it is a variation and preference style for whatever you like to do. We're gonna start with Earth style. I'm gonna go into the game, the field, and then I'm gonna see you on the quest. Alright, being in the field now, you can see we're in one of my favorite maps of Frontier, which is the Flower Field. And here we can go wild with our things. On the screen now you can see overlays for the Xbox One controller and the PS4 controller to see what I'm pressing in game while explaining the movesets and stuff, and yeah, just to visualize what I'm doing. To stop the lack of confusion here, where we normally would say press Y and triangle and circle and B button, so I don't need to say this all the time, because this will get confusing. We're gonna refer to triangle and Y as the main button, the main attack button, and the side and sub attack button will be the B button or the circle button, because those are the main things we need to look out for. The other buttons are usually more coherence with each other, so we don't need to worry about renaming them. But just so you know, when I'm referring to main attack button, it's the triangle Y. If I refer to the side attack button, it's the B or circle button. Also, yes, I don't have keyboard and mouse for you ready, but you can easily translate this for whatever layout you have on your keyboard. So if I do combos with the main attack button or the R1 button, just translate whatever these buttons are keybinded on your keyboard, and then you can just do the exact same thing. I just can't play with myself on keyboard and mouse. It just doesn't happen. I'm too used to controller. I'm also using the normal standard portable layout for the controllers, so this is the most familiar for most people on 5th gen and other games, which comes the closest to just modern gaming on Frontier, on Moveset in general. But let's talk about the first style, which is the Earth style. Earth style is usually the more familiar moveset, the like default basic moveset you familiar with from other Moveset games of the weapons, with some Frontier shenanigan additions, of course, because otherwise it won't be Frontier. And starting with the SNS moveset now, we have the first very familiar combo, the bread and butter SNS main attack triple combo. You just press 3 times the main attack button to do the normal standard bread and butter combo. Then the next is the round slash, which is the side attack button, which is just a quick, pretty decent damaging, quick combo or finisher move if you want so. You can just do the triple main attack and then finish off with the round slash if you want so. And as you see, there is like a beam coming out of my weapon. This is because of sigils. I did talk about sigils in my like armor video, kind of. I need to redo that armor video actually, because it's not really that good. And I have some ideas to redo that, but for now, sigils are special decorations or like papers you stick on your weapon. It's like specific sigils, like sigils are G rank specific decorations for your weapon only if it has a slot for it. Like you need a specific new slot for it. It's not like the normal decoration slots. But they can add a variety of effects to the weapon, and one series of effects there is for each weapon type. There is a tech change sigil, which can change or add effects to attacks of an existing move in the kit of your weapon. In the case of SNS, we have the tech SNS change sigil, which changes the round slash to a beam slash, which is a mid-ranged attack. You can hit monsters with this beam. It doesn't crit though, that's all we know. And I'm not sure if you can actually hit the sword and the beam simultaneously and do like double damage with that. This one I didn't call test yet, but you're free to do so. Then next in the line is usually pressing the main attack and the sub attack button together, which also works on SNS of course, and it does an overhead slash. This attack is really good to engage in combat and make some distance, but you're more likely welcome using this as your bread and butter engage tool. But you can also quick access that move if you just unsheath your weapon, and then when you unsheath the weapon and then only press the main attack button while you move towards a monster, you can just do that attack out of the stand and don't need to press both buttons. It's like the best engaging tool pretty much you have as your disposal. Then we're gonna come to the shield. A sword and shield won't be a sword and shield if it didn't have a shield. And obviously you can use the shield to block attacks, and this is done via the R1 button. Just holding it down will lock you in place. You can't move doing this. You enter the shield stance and can block attacks. To keep in mind here is this costs stamina of course, and is not as effective as you will do it with a lance shield, because it is a small shield, not like a giant bulk wall you're holding. So you can use it in the pinch. It is very good to negate some damage, but it's not as effective without guard skills as it will be with a lance defending. Holding down the button obviously keeps you in the shield stance as long as you want, unless you run out of stamina and then get hit and boom. Stamina doesn't regen while you're holding the shield, so keep that in mind if you just stay in turtle mode forever. But you can also do attacks out of this shield stance. The first one is the main attack button while shielding, and that is the rising slash. This attack obviously gets you out of the animation, as you can see here. So you want to use this to re-engage the combat. And then you have the side attack version, which is a little stabby stab, which does not much damage, but it keeps you in the shield stance, so you can just out of your safe position just scout the monster, its moveset if you're not familiar with it, and play safe and do a little bit of more damage meanwhile. Then on top of that, we can also press the main and sub attack button to do a shield bash. These shield bashes do impact damage, and you can chain them together twice. It's a really good way to just knock the monster out. It has a pretty lengthy animation, so you need to keep that in mind if you're gonna use it. But it's really good to just knock out and stun the monster if you want some impact damage. Then we have a slide attack. This is a frontier squee, and this slide attack is pretty handy. You can access this by default with the overhead slash twice. So if you press the main and the side attack button twice, then you do a slide motion or slide attack. This attack has iframes at the start of the animation, and you can't bounce off monsters. So you can just use this to reposition yourself, dodge an attack, and safely do some damage on the way. You can also smoothly go over into the sliding from normal attacks, so you can just chain this with other attacks together, which is very handy and gives a lot of potential for fast-paced combat. Also something I remembered I didn't mention yet. I'm not sure if this is still completely the same, but I remember from the old gen games that the first hit of the animation of the overhead slash did actually do impact damage too. And if you do the third hit combo from the normal bread and butter main attack, that attack also does impact damage on the first start of the animation. But I'm not sure if this is still a thing. I just remember that and thought maybe should mention it, and you can probably just try it out if that is still true, and then let me know. Sorry for not testing this right now, but yeah. Then we have one more thing to the Earth style, and that is the Infinity combo. That is also a Frontier Shenanigans combo, but it is very cool. I love this combo. It's very handy, and you can just Infinity combo this attack over and over again to do some serious damage if the monster is like locked down or paralyzed, trapped, whatever. To access it, you just need to do the blocking animation, like going into the block stance with R1 again, and then you just spam the main attack. So if you now do the rising slash, you just do normally with the main attack button, but if you press it again over and over and chain it, then you do the Infinity combo. This combo doesn't cost any stamina or anything, and it goes as long as you press the button. It has very lengthy recovery animation, but you can actually go over into other animations from this combo, so you don't you're not locked down. So if you wanna not get locked down in this animation, you just wanna like dodge roll and out of there, or you can also just do a slide motion, and the possibilities are there. You can also go into the infinity combo smoothly from other combos if you want so, which adds a lot next level of possibilities here to just chain your attacks together and make some crazy infinity combos and just being super fast on the battlefield against the monsters, which is very damn handy. But I am not some crazy min-maxing super combo DPS nerd, so you probably need to figure and get creative yourself, which shouldn't be a problem. I'm pretty sure people will come up with some crazy stuff. I just will give you this video for accessing and getting information about the tools you have at your disposal, and I want to see what crazy ideas you come up with. So let me know and enjoy. This is Earth style. This is everything to Earth style though, so we're gonna go over now to Heaven style. I'm gonna change the style in the city, and then I'm gonna come back with Heaven. Alright, here we are back with the Heaven style back in the field. And Heaven style doesn't change much actually compared to the Earth style, but there's slightly additions. First of all, the round slash, the side attack normally you will do, is replaced with a jumping slash. This jumping slash is, yeah, a double hit of course, and very slow as you can see, but it has the special property that it can't bounce off enemies. So if you're having struggle with hitting a tail or something and you bounce off, you can still try to cut it. Just use the jumping slash animation. This combo can obviously accessed normally as the round slash from other attacks, so if you just wanna do your thing, you can just access this faster with that. Then we have another change or addition, if you won't say so, and this is the sidestep. Normally, when you dodge an attack, you just do the normal dodge roll animation. But now with Heaven style in place, we do have a sidestep when we dodge after an attack. So if I do an attack and then dodge in any direction, we do a sidestep. So immediately after you attack, and this can be done after any attack, you can just chain these sidestep together. I'm not quite sure if this has iframes. I never used it or tried to use it to dodge attacks. I usually use it to reposition myself and being quick on the battlefield. If it has iframes, then they're very tight, and you probably need to experiment a bit around if it does, but if it has, then yeah, this pretty much just replaces the dodge. You can animation cancel this sidestep, which comes very handy when you do like quick combos. So if you do an attack and then before the animation of the sidestep finishes, you can just press another attack and then just do immediately cancel that animation and go back into another combo if you want so. This is really good to skip the lengthy animation of the jumping slash with the sidestep and then just go back and do other things. I really like this. I do like some fast-paced combats. I just wish I was better at doing some crazy min-maxing combos. That's already everything to Heaven style, and we're gonna go see you in Storm style. Alright, back in the field now with the Storm style. And as you remember, I said Storm style is usually an upgrade to Heaven. That is true, but it can also be a variation, which is the case here in the SnS. It is more of a variation than an upgrade to Heaven. So in Storm style, you pretty much just retain the entire moveset of the Heaven style. So you have everything you normally have in the Heaven style, with one major change, and that is replacing the main combo or the main bread and butter combo of the SnS combo, like the main attack button spam, to a stabbing animation. This stabbing animation do have its special properties though, and is definitely unique. So instead of a 3-hit combo now, you have a 4-hit stabbing animation. This animation is pretty quick and has this special property that it does like in every step of this animation, it does, I think, 30 or 40% more elemental damage. So yes, this storm style is focused on elemental SNS builds. It doesn't need to be, it's like not a must, you must play, you can't just do it, but as you can see, it's a variation. You have a different animation and a focused like preference style for like your play style, I mean. So you can just play Elemental Blade really well with SNS on Storm style. So you need to choose what do you want. You want this or that. And obviously you can do a quick super DPS combo if the monster is locked down with this, because you have still the sidestep from Habit style, the dodge sidestep. And you can animation cancel this, of course, so you can combine this with the stabbing animation, because the fourth attack of the Storm style combo is a very lengthy animation and locks you down in that animation, so you can't do anything else until that animation is done so. But if you now just only do 3 stabs and then animation cancel it with the side stab, then you can just go over into another stab combo and just keep going the chain of pain for the monster pretty much. And if it is like locked down, or you have a good position, because you move a bit forward with this obviously, but you can do some massive DPS on the monster if it's like in a very good position for you, like locked down with this paralyzed or something, and you just keep going, and then when it comes out of the trap, you can just go over in a slide motion or something else to reposition yourself, so you can go very interestingly crazy. And this Storm style combo is one of my favorite attacks and moves in the entire SNS kit. I'm really enjoying this, so yeah. But sadly, this is all really that it is to Storm style in terms of changes to the Heaven style in comparison. And we can go over to the Extreme style of SNS, where the meaty and chunky changes happen. So I'm gonna see you in a second. Right, back in the field now with the Extreme style. The one and only meaty style, which changes more drastically the moveset and stuff. And what in God's name are you doing here? I never saw them going on quest with me. Alright, you stay there and watch me. Alright, the Extreme style. Well, the one major trait they all share is the ability to sprint or run with your weapon unsheathed and keep staying in combat. This is like the main thing people love this style for, and me too. It adds a whole new layer to movement with one simple change, and we're gonna come to that later on though. First, what else has changed? The Extreme style for SNS is kind of a mix of all the other styles together into one massive abomination, which has a lot of options and possibilities. So you have nearly everything in the disposal you have from the other 3 styles in terms of moves, except one. So first of all, everything is the same, you have access to all the combos, but the first major change is that the round slash is still replaced with the jumping slash on the side attack button, of course, but you can still access the round slash now via the infinity combo. Yep, sounds a bit complicated, but it is not. So normally if you do the infinity combo in Extreme style, you can do with R1 and the main attack button, of course, just like normally. You can then also do the side attack button, which normally does the jumping slash, since it replaces the round slash. But if you do in directional input together with the side attack button, then you will do a round slash. It doesn't matter which directional input you do here, as long as you do one. So if you do now the same thing again, and then press a directional input while pressing the side attack button, we do the round slash, just like before. And you can see here, I can press left, right, directional, doesn't matter. Forward, behind me, it always will do the round slash instead of the normal jumping slash. Then the next major change or replacement again is the Storm style stabbing animation or the stabbing combo, the 4-hit elemental buff combo is gone. They sadly replaced this again with the normal bread and butter SnS combo, and you can't access it anywhere else in the moveset, so that is pretty sad, but it is what it is. Then another move got replaced, and that is the side attack while being in the shield stance. You normally have your main attack Rising Slash, and you do have your shield, like little stab animation while standing in that animation, but that one is gone. You have now a shield bash infinity combo. Yep, another infinity combo you can access from that shield stance. So you have now a normal cutting infinity combo with cut damage, and then you have one with impact damage. So this is really good if you want to like knock out a monster really quickly. You can especially do a lot of stun damage when the monster is like on one position, so that is really nice. And just like the infinity combo, you can go smoothly over to this attack from other attacks, so you can just keep going the pain train combo again just like before, which is very handy, I guess, and you can go very wildly crazy with these combos. The sidestep is also, of course, just as before back. It got retained, but additionally to this sidestep, we now have another dodging move that does damage on the same time. So if you now do what you normally do with the sidestep, if you press now R1, like the shield stance button, together with the dodge button, then you can do a little spinning Beyblade move in 3 directions. I never got it working in like in front of me, so it only works like backwards or left and right. But you can do a little Beyblade move, which has very little movement, but it does damage at the same time and is very quick, plus iframes. So you have a very solid animation to just dodge attacks and at the same time do some DPS. So if you now do any attack, you can just like press those combo like R1 and dodging in the direction of left or right, and you can do this after any attack, so you can just keep going that train. This move does cost stamina too, like the sidestep, so you need to keep that in mind. You trade stamina for some damage and dodging potential, just like the sidestep. So keep that on your radar if you're gonna use that move. And then last but not least, the main attraction, running while unsheathed. Normally you can only run with your character and like being super fast if you are having the weapon unsheathed. So you're not combat ready, you have the weapon not like pulled out, you can just do that. But if you have now extreme style equipped, then you can sprint with your weapon unsheathed like this, which will normally be not possible. This costs stamina, just normally as you won't sprint with your weapon sheathed, but you can stay in combat and follow up the monster if you just want to like keep going and the monster moves away from you. You can just run at it, keep attacking, and so on. To do this, it's pretty simple. You just need to double flick the stick in whatever direction you move. I guess this is probably way easier on keyboard if you just need to double tap the directional button. But for controller, you just need to double flick the movement to do this. And then you just can keep running until you do something else. To note here is that this movement speed, how you move with this sprinting, depends on the weapon. So SnS is obviously a small weapon. It's very fast and you're being like Sonic running over the field. But if you have a shield, a big shield like a lance or something, like heavy weapons, you will be slower than an SnS user. That's probably for balance reason and pretty reasonable. But just running is not enough. There's also the addition of be able to attack while doing the sprinting. There's sprinting special attacks which depend on the weapon. And for SnS we have 2 of these, which is the main attack button and this side attack button. So if we sprint now and then at any point press the main attack button. We will do a jumping spin move, which do some pretty decent damage and is very fast. It is very good to engage the combat, move then away, just go back in, or hitting like higher placed tails or anything from monsters, which is very neat and very handy. Then the second one is the impact version, which is triggered with the side attack button, just as before. Start sprinting at any point, press the impact button, and you do like a spinning move that does impact damage and is also pretty quickly. But you can also obviously decide to not do any of that. You can just like do a dodge roll and then just not committing to an attack. And also on top of that, you can just press the main and side attack button to just do a normal jumping slash instead, if you wanna not be in the little bit longer animations of the spinning or the bashing attack. So you can just do whatever you want in this pretty much and just go over into other combos and going crazy, because this is just mental amount of movement you can do. Trust me when I tell you, Extreme Style is so popular because it's very fast, dynamic combat, which nearly every weapon, and it's very fun to do. Then I nearly forgot something to mention, and that is the unique trait of SnS. This is available in any style, that doesn't matter. This is like a base function of the SnS, and that is be able to use items while having your weapon unsheathed. Yeah. So let's do that real quick. So you normally can't use items. This is an old gen Monster Hunter game, so you have an animation when you use items like potions and anything else pretty much. So let's say we drink some first aid juice here, like first aid medicine. Then you have the victory pose, as we called it back in the days, and you can't move while doing that. So healing is pretty tricky. But you can do now with the SnS, do this while your weapon is unsheathed. Normally you can only do this when your weapon is sheathed. Like you can't use items while your weapon is out, but the SnS has the trait that it can. So if you're in a pinch when you multiplayer, for example, and you need to quickly trigger a life powder to help your friend out who is getting like destroyed on the spot, then the time it will take the other friend to go into unsheathing his weapon, then using the item, and then going just back, you can just do this in half the time in just normally blocking into the shield stance. Press R1 and then use the item button, whatever's the item button for you, to use any item on the spot and keep your weapon unsheathed, so you can just stay in the combat and just go over to more damage. So that is very smooth and dynamic, and you can do this in any style. This is not extreme style thing. This is in any style, in literally every Monster Hunter. This is a unique trait of the SnS since ever. Just needed to mention that before I forgetting, because this is all there is to extreme style, pretty much. And yeah, you can go wild with this. So we are done with the movesets, and I will see you back in the city. Alright, this is pretty much it for this video, I will say. Yeah, we're gonna call this probably just combat guide or like weapon guide or something for SnS then, and I hope you liked it. It was somehow helpful. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of this, like if I should cover all the weapons, if this is good or not. I had, for example, the idea to maybe also include like skills or like top skills for each weapon, which won't be as you maybe think. Like, I'm not a min-maxing super DPS focused like speedrunner or anything. Like, you have to have this meta build skills or something. If I would do something like a top 5 skill thing, it will be more something like, yeah, this is my thoughts of the like 5 best synergizing skills on weapon X. So yeah, something to keep in mind. Don't expect like some super professional mathed out 5-head stuff where you have like the best possible times of DPS and combination of like damage output in existence. So yeah, let me know if I should include anything, if I forgot anything, and I hope this was helpful. Again, I do want to do more YouTube stuff if I can, frontier content wise, but also non-Frontier content-wise. I'm just always scared for like non-Frontier content-wise, because a lot of people that are really here at the moment are for Frontier content, I guess, and came with Frontier content, and I really want to push out as much as I can in terms of Frontier, but it is limited, again, to a certain extent. I want to probably upload other content too. I'm just very scared that people will be very upset with me if I do something like that, but then I could just push out more. But that will be something which I do only when I have a little bit more time left here and there, because I do, again, a lot of other things on the side, especially like my Monster Hunter Frontier Balance patch and other things, so that is something that stays on top, of course. But thanks for dropping in. I hope this was helpful. Let me know anything that bothers you or anything that your suggestion, and I see you all in the next video. Love you all, have a good one, and bye bye.